I made it home and this box is waiting on me. These are two valve covers for the Armada. It was last year or year before last I replaced the valve cover gaskets on the Armada, not realizing that the seals for the spark plug tubes, they're built into the valve cover. So in order to replace those, you gotta replace the actual valve cover. So I went in and replaced the valve cover gaskets, hoping that everything was gonna be all right. This side is good. There's no oil down in the plugs on this side, but on this side, when I would change the spark plugs, I think all except one had oil on them, like oil down in the tube. So you see how this side looked nice and shiny, because I would blow the oil out with my my air gun, my blow gun. Yeah, if there's oil down in the spark plug tool, what I mean, but you put when you pull the coil, if it comes out wet, I mean oil is dripping off of it, never remove the spark plug. Don't do that, because what's going to happen is all that oil will go down the hole into the cylinder, and you could hydrolock the engine with oil. What you do is you either remove, well, you can remove the plug and crank the engine over. If I did that, I would remove all the plugs for that side, but I like to do them one at a time. So what I do is I remove the coil. If it's wet, I take my compressor and my blow gun and I just blow all the oil out. It'll just come rushing out. If anything, it'll coat everything with a nice coating of oil. Hey, free anti-rust. But what I'm gonna do is, since the engine's so dirty, I mean it's dirty, so since I'm gonna be removing the valve covers, I'm gonna go ahead and wash the engine. I'm gonna get my pressure washer and just give it a quick wash up top, get all the dust and debris off of it. When I remove the valve covers, I don't have to worry about anything falling into the engine. This is my little light duty. It's just 1,700 psi, 1.2 gallons per minute. Electric pressure washer. I got it from Lowe's a while ago. It's good for pressure washing the siding and vehicles and stuff. Don't blow the paint off, damage the siding. It's perfect for cleaning engines. There they are, the two valve covers. That is the driver's side, that is the passenger side. Brand new seals. Like I said, these seals they're built into the valve cover. And the valve cover gasket is on there. So go ahead and get hot and get them on. I'm gonna go ahead and do the passenger side first, because if memory serves me correctly, that one is the harder one to get on, because you got that big harness running right on top of it. If I remember correctly, I think that was the harder one to get on. Yep. I think that's what it was. I think this one was easier. You just got that vacuum line, the AC line, but this one wasn't that hard if memory serves me correctly. So I'm gonna do this one first. All right, I got the passenger side valve cover off. I see why all four was leaking on this side. If you look in there, I don't know if you can see it. See, that one's cracked. 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 And cracked. So all four on this side cracked. I don't know why, because the passenger side ones are dry. And I guess with this many miles, you might as well replace them anyway. What I did, instead of using a flathead screwdriver or razor blades, I bought this thing. It's called a Safe Scraper by Permatex. It's actually plastic razor blades. So I'm gonna use that to scrape the silicone off. The only place you put silicone is in the corners. You put a little dab of silicone right there. I'm sorry, trying to get this thing to. And down there in that corner. So just in the corners is where you put a little dab of silicone. Everything else is dry. This is what I use to hold the gasket in place while I'm putting the valve cover on. That right there. That when you flip the valve cover over, the gasket doesn't fall out. All right, there we go. That's the passenger side, or the right side. That was the old one, and there's a brand new one. Everything is torqued to factory specs from the manual. The valve cover bolts, the coil pack bolts, and the spark plugs. I like to torque everything. I know I'm not going into detail in this video because I did a detailed video. It was one video each. I did one video. It was detailed on replacing this side, the driver's side valve cover, and I did a separate detailed video on replacing the driver's side, the passenger side valve cover. So go and look at those videos if you want more detail and torque values and everything. If you removing this side, go ahead and loosen the bolts that hold the power steering reservoir. Go ahead and loosen those, and just that way it could flap around and move out of your way. It gives you room to pull the valve cover forward, up and forward. On this side, to give yourself more room, of course, remove the intake. Remove this, remove the cover. Just remove everything out of your way. You can use some wire to tie up the harnesses and hoses, get them up and out of your way. All right, again, it's real easy. It looks complicated because of all these hoses and crap in front of you, but they're just on top of the stuff. Just unclip, unscrew whatever, move it out of your way. Again, if you want the detailed videos, go and look at the video, the single video for replacing the driver's side and the single video for replacing the passenger side. I'm about to tackle the driver's side now. This side isn't leaking. The seals for the spark plug tubes on this side are not leaking. This side, like I showed you earlier in this video, all four were cracked and they were leaking. All right, the driver's side is off. So I'm gonna go ahead and check it. Remember, this side was dry. Okay, so although this side was dry as far as no oil leaking, as you can see right there, that one is cracked. And it's cracked right there. I don't see any cracks in this one. Is that a crack? I can't tell if that's a crack or not. No, that one's not cracked. And the last one. So those two are cracked on the driver's side. So it's a good thing I went ahead and changed it. Good thing I ordered two. Although this side wasn't leaking oil down into the tubes. As a matter of fact, there go the coil packs. See, all four are dry. Whereas on the passenger side, all four were wet. But again, I ordered two valve covers because I never replaced just one. Do them in pairs. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the brand new valve cover and the valve cover gasket on there. A storm passed through, so I had to stop. Just had a lightning. I had to stop, but I actually have the driver's side valve cover on, and I started step one of the torque sequence. There's two steps. The first step is 17 inch-pounds, and then the second step is 78 inch-pounds, I think. So yeah, 70 something. I think it's 78 inch-pounds. So you go over it once, 17 inch-pounds. Then you go over it a second time, 78 inch-pounds. But I had to stop again because a thunderstorm passed. And there it is. The driver's side valve cover is on. Everything's torqued down. Step 1, step 2. I retorqued the spark plugs. Yes, I use a torque wrench on my spark plug. On the Titans and Armadas, 168 inch-pounds on your spark plugs. All right, the air box and the air duct, all the hoses, the vent lines are back in. So the only thing I haven't done yet is put the cover on. So I got 2 brand new valve covers, valve cover gaskets, and of course the spark plug tubes, the spark plug holes. The gaskets for those are built into the valve covers underneath on the Titans and the Armadas. That's the old driver's side valve cover and valve cover gasket. We had just had a break in the rain. The storms passed, so I ran out real fast and finished it up. So everything is hooked up. All the wiring is hooked back up. Everything is hooked back. Everything is clipped back into place. The harnesses and everything. Again, it looks difficult because of all this crap on top of it, but that stuff just moves out of your way. And my trick is get a piece of wire like Romex, split it, and use the individual strands of wires to tie up the harness, the hoses, and everything out of your way. That's my little trick that I like to use. No, I do not have an amp in my vehicle. That fuse is actually for my inverter. I think it's a 750 watt inverter. Forgot what its surge is. But it's a 400 watt inverter. So you turn it on. 2 USBs, 2 115 volt outlets. But let's go fire it up and see what happens. This glove, I'm trying to take this glove off while holding the phone. All right, got it off. All right, let's grab the keys. All right. $230,000. It fired right up, but the odometer was doing something weird. So when I pushed the button to reset, everything went back to normal. I was concerned for a second, but 230,513 miles. The only thing left to do is put the engine cover back on. Let's go ahead and do that now. All right, the engine cover is back on. And that's it, I'm done.